These are the materials needed to complete this project. We have our pattern, a knitting needle, paper scissors, needles, an iron, polyfill, iron-on heat transfer vinyl, color black, tracing paper, the tracing wheel, needle and thread if you don't have a sewing machine, and we have lining, fusible lining, and it does have stretch to it. And for the main fabric we have a white scuba knit, and this too has stretch to it. And we have fabric scissors. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is cut our pattern pieces. And our pattern pieces include the glove, the cuff, and the cutouts, the middle, center cutout, and the side cutout. We're not going to be using these just yet, so I'm going to put them to the side for now. And we're going to be cutting the glove and cuff. Okay, so now that I've done cutting out the fabric pieces for the gloves, I'm going to cut out the actual cutouts with the vinyl. So I have two pattern pieces for that, and there is the side cutout and the center cutout. And these are the black details that go on top of the glove. And so what we're going to do is use our black iron-on vinyl, and we're going to use that to cut our shapes from. And here you have your side cutout. So we have a center and a side. Center and the side. And we're going to continue this cutout process. Again, we need 2 center pieces and 4 of the side pieces. Alright, so now that I've got all of the pieces cut out here, to the cuffs, 4 of the main fabric glove pieces, 4 of these total, also 4 of the lining glove piece total. You don't need lining for the cuffs, so just 4 of the glove lining pieces, and then you're going to need the vinyl pieces that decorate the top of the glove. So there's the 6 pieces there, 3 for each glove. Okay, and now that we have all of our pieces cut, we need to transfer our cutout images to our gloves so we know where to iron them on and exactly where to place them. So to do that, we are going to take 2 of our main fabric pieces, one for each glove, and we want to use shiny side up, so one for each hand. So we have one for the left and then one for the right, and these are going to be the right sides of the gloves. And we'll be needing our glove pattern, our tracing wheel, and tracing paper. I'm going to use this color because I know it's going to show up on the white fabric and I'll be able to see it. So to transfer our image from this pattern to the fabric, what we're going to do is first put fabric down, and then we're going to put our tracing paper with the wax. Well, this is actually wax free, but you're going to put the color side down on top of the right side of the fabric, like so. And then we are going to take our pattern. I'm going to use actually the left side first. And we're going to take the pattern and place it on top, lining it up. And you want to make sure that the tracing paper is underneath the image. So now that we've got that aligned, I'm going to use a couple weights here just to keep it from shifting. Something heavy you can put on top once you've got it all lined up. I'm just going to use that one. And what we need to do, take the tracing wheel and we're just going to trace around the image all the way completely around, and it's going to rip the paper a little bit. And actually I'm going to take a cutting mat and place that underneath everything so that it doesn't tear the paper as much. So start here and just trace around the whole image. See that perforation through the paper, and that's what you want to see. And make sure everything was transferred, and it was. And you want to repeat that process for the other side. Okay, so now that we have our images transferred onto the gloves on both sides, and we have our cutouts cut out of the vinyl, we can transfer them on to the fabric. And this is where we need our iron and a towel or some sort of fabric to go underneath the material as we iron. And we're going to do that for both gloves, right and left side. To iron the vinyl pieces on, you want the shiny side facing up, the shiny plastic side facing up, and the matte side facing down. And make sure you line those up with the transferred images we did prior. And you're going to want your iron to heat up. And I'm just going to do one at a time. So I'm going to do, actually, I'll do the middle first. And I just want to place it, make sure it's all lined up. And I'm going to iron. And you want to make sure that you are moving it constantly. Don't let it sit still because it'll leave an imprint and it could burn the fabric. So here we go. That's how it looks once it's pressed down. As you can see, it'll just peel right off and leave you with that there. And you want to go ahead and remove the rest of the film on the others, and then you're going to press these onto this glove just like you did this one. Repeat the process. Okay, so now that I've done ironing on the vinyl pieces to both sides of the gloves, I'm going to assemble all of the fabric pieces together so that we can sew them together. And to do that, first we are going to start with these pieces here. And what we need to do is flip them over. So wrong side facing up, wrong side's facing up. And then we are going to take our lining pieces, and this is fusible lining, so there's a rough side and there's a smooth side. The rough side is the side that you fuse to the material to make it stick. So we want that side, rough side down, and we want to pin these into place for this side and this side. And again, that's rough side down. And we are going to line them up. Line everything up like so and pin into place. So this is what I have pinned. And once I'm done pinning these down, I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to put these to the side and then bring in the back sides of the gloves. And remember, the shiny side is going to be the right side. So we have the right sides, and then we're going to put the right side down. So we want wrong sides up. The wrong sides up. And with this, we're going to take our fusible lining, rough side down, for both sides. Make sure you line them up. Line them up. And instead of pinning, we're actually going to iron. So we need our iron again. And just for the back sides, we're going to iron this side into place. We're not going to iron the top piece. We're just going to pin this piece for now and put it to the side. Do not iron the top piece. We need this to stay open. So put that to the side. And again, we are going to be fusing the lining to the wrong side of the bottom of the glove. Okay, so now that we have our lining fused to the bottom wrong side of the glove on both hands, and we have our lining pinned into place on the upper side of the glove. Remember, we didn't iron this piece, we just pinned it for now. So next we want to put the gloves together. So we're going to do the right glove first, and to do that we're going to take the right side of the glove, upper glove, along with the right side of the bottom of the glove and sandwich them together. So right sides together like so. And remember, we already fused the lining to the bottom of the glove, so you'll see that on the upper side, and then if you flip it over, you'll see the pins from the lining still there. So what we need to do is pin all of the layers together. So the top and bottom of the glove, we need to pin these together so that we can sew all the way around. Look, top side, bottom side, all layers pinned together. And we still have this opening here where the cuff is going to attach. The straight line here is where the cuff is going to attach, and we're not going to pin this part down because we're not going to sew this part down. So now that we have everything pinned in place, we're going to sew. And you will need your needle and thread. And this is a white coordinating thread to match the color of the fabric. And what you want to do is start from one side and work your way around. Remember to stop at the other side and do not stitch this here. Leave this part open. So I'm going to start down here and do my first stitch. Okay, so I've completed the stitch all the way around, starting at one side. I went all the way around through all of the layers and stopped at the other side, leaving the bottom open. So I did that for both of the gloves. And since we did not iron down the lining to the top of the glove, we have a pocket left over. See there's a pocket left over. And we're going to use that to stuff the cotton into our glove to make it puff, to give it that cartoon effect. But before we stuff the cotton in, we are going to flip these gloves inside out. So what we want to do is take it, find the inside and flip it, turn it out, like so. Have our two gloves. Of course they're flat right now, so that's where our cotton polyfill comes into play. And this is the polyfill cotton fiber fill. And we're going to be using this to stuff our gloves. Okay, so what we want to do is take some of our cotton fill, and I'm separating it like so. It just adds some air to it and fluffs it up, so you don't need so much. And so it just makes it look better once it's stuffed. So we want to fluff it up, and then we want to look for the pocket in there on the top side of the glove. So between the top glove fabric and top glove lining, that's where we're going to put our cotton fill inside of that little pocket there. A little bit at a time, one finger at a time. And we're just going to go ahead and stuff it in there. be very gentle. You don't want to rip anything. And we have our knitting needle if you need that to help, you know, push the fibers down in there. If you can't reach it with your finger, you can use that knitting needle. And we're just going to continue to fill all the way. Okay, that's looking about right. Looks about right. So I filled it with the cotton in the pocket, like I showed you. So this is what the inside will look like. And then here's the pocket with the cotton in it. And this is where your hem goes through. Doing another test to make sure it's not too tight. I like that. So I'm going to repeat this process of stuffing the cotton in the pocket on this other glove here. Repeat the process, and then I'm going to go about attaching the cuff. Okay, so now that I've stuffed both of the gloves with our polyfill, both gloves have been filled. Next, what we need to do is go about attaching our cuffs. And remember, we have 2 of these pieces cut out, 1 for each glove. So what we want to do with these pieces are, we need to fold them first. We're going to fold them in half, like so. Fold it in half, and then we need to stitch along this edge here, leaving about a 3/4 inch gap. So what that looks like, here's an example here. I stitched the other side already. So as you can see, there's a stitch here, and then I stopped and left about a 3/4 inch gap here, and then I finished the stitch at the bottom. So it should look like so. And then there's the opening on this edge, the 3/4 inch opening. So now that we have our cuff sewn in half, we need to attach it to the glove so that we can sew them together. And to do that, what we're going to do is take this cuff piece and flip it in half, like so, so that the right sides are facing outward in half, and then there's that 3/4 inch hole that we left. We need that so that we can stuff our cotton into the cuff. So we have that folded in half. Now we're going to bring over our glove, and we're going to attach it to the cuff. I'm going to pin that together. Pin that edge together, like so. And now we're going to add a couple more pins. One to the center back here, one here, so, and then I'm going to put another pin here to close off that pocket where we stuffed the cotton. So make sure we're lining up all of the edges. So and we're going to pin that right in the center. And this is what it's going to look like. What we need to do is go along with our needle and thread, and we're going to stitch this edge together all the way around, getting all the layers together. We'll start here, and this is a 1/4 inch seam, so I'm going to start. Okay, so once I've sewn on the cuffs on both gloves, the last step, what we need to do is fill the cuff with the polyfill cotton. And to do that, we are going to use that 3/4 inch hole that we left open on the cuff. So I'm going to take some of my polyfill cotton and just stuff it in through that hole that we made. And there you have it. And to finish it off, we're just going to take our needle and thread and sew that opening close. So we're just going to fold these edges together. Close them up like that. Pinch those edges together, and then we're just going to do a little whip stitch. When we get to the end, we're just going to knot it off, secure our stitch into place by knotting it. I'm going to do 2 knots just to add extra strength, so I'm going to knot it twice, like so, and there you have it, the finished glove. And you just want to repeat that process for this cuff here. Stuff it with the cotton and you'll have a full set of our cartoon gloves. Thank you for following along. I hope this tutorial helped you, and enjoy your gloves.